As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind...
Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. Today I'm going to explain about some of my grandfather's missing assets that I've located. Here, for example, is the Oxford Mail article in September the 7th, 1987. There was a mysterious fire on my family's property which burnt down the industrial unit that was originally there. It then paved the way forward for the shopping centre. So on the next page you'll see here, this is a letter going to my grandfather at the time, dated the 10th of February 1988. It's from a firm of accountants who are going to be helping my grandfather rebuild the property after the fire. On the next page you can see it's the South Oxford District Council letter which is giving permission for my grandfather to rebuild after the fire. It's not for the shopping centre at this stage, it's for a reinstatement of what the existing property was. On the next page you'll see it's a letter to Mr Durrant from the accountants asking to be paid for the work and the drawings, which I'll show you shortly. On the next page you'll see the amount he paid was £5,891.17. Then sadly my grandfather gets murdered, and now the accountants are writing, or the architects are writing to my father. On the 26th of January 1989 they're talking about the redevelopment project. My father's idea was to have the shopping centre, which I can elaborate on at a later time. Now you can see here that the architects are still writing to my father in 1990 and saying sorry about the confusion. Here are the town planning notice being submitted by a certain developer. So on the next page you'll see now the maps and drawings that have been paid for by my family's trusts. And this is for the redevelopment of that specific town centre and the building of this specific shopping centre. And again on the next page you'll see another map. And now over to another letter from the architect to my father, keeping him informed on what's going on with the project. You can see here it included the planning permission. So we have the planning permission for the town centre, shopping centre redevelopment, comprising of food stall, many units, retail warehousing, petrol station, and much more. And as you can see on the next document, it's just showing the permission granted to my family to build on the land that we owned, which now sits a very big shopping centre. So again, it's just more of the documents I'm showing you here. And then we now end up with some of the missing companies that I've located through reading the historical records my family have held for many decades. The first thing here is the Emerald Trust is the trust deed, or the trust that has been unsigned by my lawyer grandfather in one of these offshore islands. And they wrote to him and said that Sterlona Investments Limited were certainly held within the trust. Sadly, that is not correct, because in the trust deed I hold here, it doesn't mention Sterlona Investments. So that's something else to point at the fact that the trust deed is fake. It's unsigned by my grandfather and does not mention Sterlona Investments. You can also see at the bottom of that letter that the trustee, or the person who signed this letter, is also the trustee of the person who got the $74 million transfer from the accountants behind Mr Durrant's house. Sadly, then you can see that Sterlona Investments were dissolved in 1994, and never included in my family's trust, and stolen. So that's just a short video today to show you an example of many different property companies I've identified. Thanks for listening.